Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jenna with the WJTS News. An Otwell man faces voyeurism charges. Over the weekend, officers were called to a woman's residence when she says she caught a man looking into her window. When officers arrived, they didn't find anybody, so they left. About an hour later, the same woman called again, saying the same man was looking into her window. When police came again, no one was found. Police stood by at the woman's residence and eventually caught the man, who was identified as 40-year-old Michael Webb. Webb was charged with a level 6 felony count of voyeurism and a Class B misdemeanor count of public intoxication. A Jasper man was taken into custody on obstruction charges. Friday night, local authorities were called to a vehicle fire. When officers arrived, they found the driver of the vehicle, 35-year-old Gabriel Heredia Ramos. Ramos's vehicle caught fire due to a mechanical issue. Officers noticed that Ramos was intoxicated. After a field sobriety test, Ramos was offered a chemical test, which he refused. When officers were granted a search warrant for a blood draw, Ramos refused to comply. Ramos was charged with an OWI and obstruction of justice. A Jasper man was arrested on multiple charges after attacking a woman. Saturday morning, Jasper police were called to a residence regarding a domestic incident. The suspect, 29-year-old Devontae Chapman, fled the scene. Chapman had battered a woman at the residence. Chapman was later found and resisted arrest. Additional police officers were called in for assistance. Chapman was eventually detained and arrested. He was taken to the Dubois County Security Center and charged with a level 6 felony count of domestic battery, a level 6 felony count of battery against a public official, a Class A misdemeanor count of resisting law enforcement, a Class A misdemeanor count of possession of marijuana, and a Class C misdemeanor count of paraphernalia. A Jasper man was taken into custody after driving drunk. Saturday night, officers stopped 22-year-old Noah Siebert for having no taillights on his vehicle. Police soon noticed that Siebert was intoxicated. Siebert failed a field sobriety test. Siebert was taken to Memorial Hospital where his blood alcohol content was measured at .127. Siebert was arrested and booked into the Dubois County Security Center on charges of operating while intoxicated and operating while intoxicated with a BAC over .08, both Class C misdemeanors. A Santa Claus man is facing charges after driving impaired with his 2-year-old son in the car. State troopers pulled over 27-year-old Brandon Sadler for making unsafe lane movements on I-64 in Gibson County on Friday morning. After smelling marijuana coming from the vehicle, police called for a canine. Marijuana wax and paraphernalia were found inside the car. Sadler's son was turned over to relatives. Sadler was arrested and charged with operating a vehicle while intoxicated with a passenger less than 18 years old, possession of marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. State Senator and Chairman of the Dubois County Republican Party, Mark Messmer, is forming a caucus to elect a replacement for Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner. Spinner announced that he was resigning from office on Friday morning after being appointed to the Executive Director of the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. His resignation goes into effect at midnight on November 25th. The caucus will be held at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, November 19th at the Huntingburg City Hall. Candidates must file a declaration of candidacy with Messmer on the CEB-5 form at least 72 hours before the caucus. These forms are available at in.gov/SOS/elections. Nominations from the floor are not permitted by state law. There are 4 City of Huntingburg Precinct committeemen eligible to vote in the caucus. 22 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in Dubois County on Monday. According to the Indiana State Department of Health's COVID-19 dashboard, the county now has 1,870 positive cases with 29 deaths. The dashboard also shows that the county's 7-day rolling average for all positive tests is 11.7%. 10,746 residents have been tested since the pandemic began in March. To see a breakdown of the county's COVID-19 cases by age group and for more information, visit coronavirus.in.gov. As always, the best way to protect yourself and others around you is by practicing social distancing, washing your hands frequently with soap and water, and to mask up. The Indiana State Department of Health is reporting 4,418 COVID-19 related deaths, 214,509 positive cases, and 3,239,034 Indiana residents have been tested for the virus as of Monday afternoon. The numbers for our viewing area are as follows. Starting off with Dubois, with 1,870 cases and 29 deaths. Pike is reporting 413 cases with 18 deaths. Spencer with 566 cases and 6 deaths. Perry is reporting 650 cases and 19 deaths. Martin with 247 cases. Davies with 1,132 cases and 37 deaths. Orange is reporting 508 cases with 27 deaths. Knox with 1,181 cases, 12 deaths. Crawford reporting 203 cases, 1 death. Posey, 957 cases, 11 deaths. Lawrence is reporting 1,292 cases and 42 deaths. Gibson, 1,228 cases and 13 deaths. Warwick with 2,498 cases and 67 deaths. And Vanderburg is reporting 7,497 cases with 90 deaths. To see a map of cases by county, head to coronavirus.in.gov. A newly formed nonprofit organization is hoping to bring some positivity to downtown Jasper. The Heart of Jasper Board of Directors announced Kate Schwenk as their director last week. Schwenk says that she is humbled to lead the team.
I'm excited. I was grateful for the opportunity. There's a lot of exciting things going on with the city and with the board and the committees, and just happy to be a part of it.
The organization had its first focus group and open house with small business owners on Thursday. Schwenk says doing this helped them narrow their starting goals.
Getting the group organized and keeping them on track and being able to really help organize their work to get a lot of the action items done and prioritize their goals and really see a lot of great gains and ultimately help the downtown businesses be as successful as they can be.
Hearing from small local business owners helped the nonprofit to have a better understanding of what the current set of challenges are.
We really hope to be a good partner with the small businesses, so collaborate with a lot of other groups that are in the area with the Chamber, DuBois Strong, Rojack, and then really understand what the needs are of the businesses.
Schwenk says she hopes to have more of these focus groups in the near future.
We hope so. As other events and activities come up that we want to hopefully help educate them on, then we can have these focus groups and really hear from them and then understand from them what they need, and then hopefully continue the focus groups to share what those needs are.
Schwenk explains what steps they will take towards achieving their goals.
Right now it's really just learning from the priorities of the board and then working with each of the 4 committees. There's the promotion, the design, economic vitality, and organization to really understand what their work goals are and then how do we meet those goals.
The Heart of Jasper's office is located on the 2nd floor of Jasper City Hall. For more information, visit heartofjasper.org or call 812-482-4255. The Branchville Correctional Facility is taking new steps to keep inmates and staff safe after a recent outbreak of COVID-19 cases. 48 new cases were reported at the facility between Monday and Friday last week. 89 cases were reported in the facility the week before. One offender is receiving treatment at a local hospital. The other offenders are being monitored by the Branchville Medical Unit with daily health screenings and temperature checks. 6 dormitories at the facility currently house 1,533 men. Each dorm is being cohorted as a group to prevent the spread of the virus. Those who are exposed to the virus or have symptoms are immediately tested and screened by medical staff. If a positive case is identified, the individual is moved to a separate dormitory. Both new offenders and those returning from court-ordered appearances are quarantined for 14 days with daily health screenings and temperature checks before returning to or being assigned to a dormitory. All areas of the facility are being cleaned and sanitized on a daily basis. All staff members and offenders are required to wear face masks. All meals are being delivered to each offender to restrict movement in the dormitories. When it is safe to do so, the meal service will resume in the dining facility. To help keep the community safe, men who are approaching their release date are quarantined and monitored for 14 days prior to their release. If an offender tests positive at the time of their scheduled release, their release cannot be delayed. The offender's family will be notified, and the offender is expected to live in isolation until they are virus-free. For more information, visit in.gov/IDOC. The Lagodi Farmers to Families Food Box program is helping out local families with getting food on the table again. The program's next distribution day is taking place on Tuesday, November 24th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. at Lagodi United Methodist Church at 208 West Main Street. Volunteers will distribute the boxes until quantities run out. All families need to do is pull up and open their trunk. Volunteers will take care of loading the mixed food boxes. Participants are asked to enter on Wood Street. Cars cannot line up early because it would interfere with school traffic. Approximately 1,500 families will be served. The Elnora Farmers to Families Food Box program is hoping to help Daviess County families next week. The program is distributing mixed food boxes on Thursday, November 12th at the Daviess County Fairgrounds at 532 East State Road on State Road 57 in Elnora, Participants are asked to enter off Highway 57. Volunteers distribute the boxes from 5:15 to 7:30 p.m. or until their quantities run out as well. All families need to do is pull up and open their trunk. Volunteers will take care of loading the mixed food boxes. Cars are not allowed to line up early. Approximately 1,100 families will be served. Something fishy happened at Patoka Lake last week. The Indiana Bass Federation released nearly 3,000 6 to 10-inch largemouth bass into Patoka Lake as part of Indiana's DNR's Reservoir Habitat Enhancement Program. DNR Southwest Fishery Supervisor Dan Carnahan says this is part of a big research project.
And we're actually investigating how these bass survive compared to the other bass that are in the lake. And so this is going to dictate a lot of our bass stocking policy. So we're really looking at this as a big research project. And the Federation, the Indiana Bass Federation, has came through and purchased all these fish for us to do this project. And so it's going to work out really good. And then on top of that, the whole community will benefit from it.
All bass were microchipped, and the benefits of stocking Indiana reservoirs will be evaluated. Conservation Director with the Indiana Bass Federation, Jason Hartz, says that the DNR will study these fish for the next 5 years.
The DNR is going to study the stocking over the next 5 years to see its effectiveness and give them more data to go on for future stocking, for habitat placement, those kinds of things.
This stocking comes after 1,000 largemouth bass were released into Patoka Lake in May. Hartz says he hopes this will bring more tourism to Patoka Lake.
Fishing's been shown to be a major economic engine for communities, and the lake has went through a down cycle somewhat. They go through their ups and downs, but we hope that this will bring it. It's been on an up cycle this year, and with this stocking and the habitat placement that we've been doing, we hope that the fishing gets better and better and draws more people, which then draws more money to the area and to the businesses around here.
For more information, visit in.gov/DNR. Now stay tuned. Weather and sports are still to come on WJTS News.